Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is Miyasan Worldwide coming to you live. I'm Armaan Farid.
And I am Yanal Malkosh. So this is going to be our first podcast.
And this is kind of interesting. It's the first time we're doing this podcast. We've obviously been running Miyasan Worldwide for a while now. It's grown in popularity, and we're very happy that we've been able to bring so much info and so much stuff to our members, and hopefully this podcast will be another exciting little way to reach out to the world about the best club in the world, isn't it?
Exactly. And as you can see, our slogan is Passion Redefined. So our passion is Bayern and everything related to Bayern. And this was our way to show more interest and more attention to our passion.
Damn true, damn true. So, Jan, how did you become a Bayern fan, man?
Oh, well, actually, when I used to be a kid, I used to watch a lot of football. Every goal in every league. And I kept on following this program that they showed every week about the European leagues. And somehow I fell in love with Bayern. So, and maybe in 1997, that's when I became an official Bayern fan, you know?
Right.
What about yourself?
Oh, it's a little hard following football in India. You know, it's all about either cricket or even if it is football, then it's got to be a Premier League team or one of the two, Real Madrid or Barcelona. You know, for me, I think I fell in love with it at the 2002 World Cup. You know, I was like 12 years old, and that was the year when Oliver Kahn just went ballistic and crazy and set a new standard for goalkeeping. You know, like it was totally insane, and I was like, I want to be like that guy. and yeah, I mean, soon enough, you know, it's like the player doesn't matter as much as the team because players come and go, even legends come and go, but the club remains forever. And then, you know, it was all about Bayern through the good and the bad.
That is true. You know what's funny? By the time that I was a Bayern fan, at that time Dortmund were the ones dominant, and somehow, I think it's something about me that I like to support the underdogs in general, you know. But when it comes to Bayern now, they're at the top of the world, and it's different because, you know, that's the team that you support.
Yeah, no, it's so ironic, you know. It's so ironic that you say that because God knows we've come a long way. We've come a long way. You're absolutely right about the mid-90s. There was a patch which was so much for Dortmund. I remember that they won back-to-back Bundesliga titles, and with the likes of Chapuzat and Karl-Heinz Riedel, if I'm not wrong, they won the Champions League as well.
And Matthias Sammer.
Oh, yeah, Matthias Sammer and Jürgen Kohler.
Yeah, and the general was their manager by that time.
Oh yeah, damn true. Ottmar Hitzfeld, the general. That was a special win against Juventus in the Champions League, wasn't it, for them?
Actually, yeah. That day I supported Dortmund, regardless of what others may think about it.
Yeah. And well, we've had our own moments. You know, we've come out of. It's been such a long journey for Bayern. I mean, we wrestled it back from Dortmund in the late 90s. We ended up going when Ottmar Hitzfeld joined Bayern. I remember we won 3 Bundesliga titles in a row. And we reached the final in 99, semifinals in 2000, and then we won it in 2001, finally. 25 years of hurt just going away like the passing wind, you know, that was an amazing night. You watched it live, didn't you?
Of course I did.
How did it feel? Like, I just missed it. I mean, I've seen the old reruns and all that, but I didn't get the chance to watch it live. How did it feel watching that one?
Well, it was a lot similar to 2013, last year's final. Coming back from a loss at the final 2 years earlier. I mean, in 1999, we lost the final dramatically. And then we made it again to the final in 2001. The same way that happened with 2012 final in Munich, and we lost dramatically. And then made it again to 2013's final. And we won the game in the last seconds when Robin scored. 2001 went to penalties. We were down by 1 goal, and then we equalized. And then in the penalties, we were down again. And so it was really nerve-wracking.
I think Bayern does that, don't they? I mean, if you look at our history, whether it was against Aston Villa, where we were favourites, Porto, we scored early, and then we conceded 2 goals. in 120 seconds. I think in the 79th minute and the 81st minute. Then came 99 with, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We've been a team that snatched defeat from the jaws of victory time and time again. But I think the one thing that defines us is that we don't ever stay down forever. We rise up.
And the same thing applies to the German national team as well. It's a little bit similar.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. If I'm not wrong, they won the final of the European Cup in 72, lost it in 76, but then came back to win it in 80. And all right, they've hit a bit of a...
Just like World Cup, like they lost to Maradona in Argentina, and then they won in 1990. And they kept on reaching the final stages, and then in the last step, they just fall down. So I think they're going to pick themselves up as well. So
it's got to be... I mean, this has got to be a golden generation coming up for the German national team with the likes of Hummels, Boateng,
exactly, and
Kroos, Müller, Özil, Götze. There are so many of them, aren't there?
This generation is really a generation full of talents and full of potential. That's why even Bayern is that good. Because I remember that in the middle of the 2000s, the Bundesliga suffered because of the 50+1 rule, which was to prevent outside ownership coming in and which forced Bundesliga clubs to focus on the youth academies. And, there was that patch in the middle where even Bayern, we were bottom of the elite table, one would say. Yes, we pulled off results against the likes of Arsenal, the invincible Arsenal team. We pulled off a win against Real Madrid. We had some good European nights, but we weren't even in the last four. It took us so long. It took us until Louis van Gaal came in and gave us an identity and brought us a shape. That's right.
To come back to the big time.
Even for Hitzfeld, after we won the 2001 Champions League, it wasn't easy to reach the semi-finals or finals for Bayern. And until Louis van Gaal.
It's been amazing that, our journey has been so well defined that we've struggled through it. But there's no lottery ticket. There's no luck involved. There wasn't some rich Russian or Arab sheikh who has billions and billions of dollars to spend, who said like, oh, I like this team, I'm going to pick this team and I'm going to invest in this team. We had to do it the hard way. We had to rely on smart business decisions and credit to Uli Hoeneß and Karl-Heinz Rummenigge and Karl Hopfner for that, And at long last, when Louis van Gaal did come in, I think the best thing that he did, one of the best things that he did was take out a player who actually said, I don't like attacking as much as I like defending. Bastian Schweinsteiger, what were you doing on the wings for your career if you don't like attacking as much as defending? and then to switch him into the center, that
actually
was amazing.
it was a turning point for Bayern.
It was a turning point in Schweinsteiger.
Bastian Schweinsteiger's switching to the center midfield, to the defensive zone, and to just do the passing.
Oh yeah,
handle the creativity. I don't know. Luis van Gaal has that.
He's got the eye. He's got the eye. Exactly. It marked such a turning point for both Bayern and for Schweinsteiger's career, because he went from an occasionally world-class winger to an absolutely world-class player, the engine room of Bayern.
World Cup 2010 says it all.
He was fantastic in that. He was absolutely.
I've never seen Bastian that good.
True. It was amazing. We thought that, we were going to miss Michael Ballack in the World Cup. It was a scary time for German fans, but Schweinsteiger, he took the mantle. He led the team along with the likes of Philipp Lahm. He led the team from the front. And it was unfortunate that they didn't have enough quality to overcome Spain. Some will argue that Mesut Özil was tripped inside the box and a penalty should have been given, perhaps even a red card. But that's football. Sometimes the decisions go for you, sometimes they go against you. In the end, Spain were the better team on that day. But here we are, all these years later, 4 years later. Who knows? Maybe now is Schweinsteiger's time. Maybe the German teams are maturing now that Bayern ended up winning the European Cup at long last.
Yeah, actually, they were labeled as losers even when in the last World Cup, And they used to say, a lot of spectators said that this is the half the team that played for Bayern and lost the Champions League final 2012, in Euro.
Yeah, in the European, yeah.
So we were labeled like
chokers,
like losers and chokers. Yeah, exactly. So
and there was a point. I mean, there was a point.
Bayern proved them wrong last year.
True. I think that there was a point in what we were being labeled as, because we came so far in 2010. Okay, we didn't have the depth. Louis van Gaal was pulling off a miracle there. We had Holger Badstuber, who was a brilliant centre back, playing as a left back. We had the likes of Timochuk and Pjanic, who are very, very good players, but undoubtedly the likes of Shaqiri and Luis Gustavo or Javi Martinez are superior players. So we didn't have as much quality as we have today. But 2010, maybe it was a step too far. But 2012, that was heartbreaking. I mean, at our own home ground against a considerably weak Chelsea squad, an aging Chelsea squad. Okay, some people might point out to the fact that Alaba was suspended, Badstuber was suspended, that we were missing key players, and we didn't necessarily have depth. But
we dominated. We dominated the whole match.
And we took the lead in the 83rd minute. Surely we should have held it.
Yeah, but let's not go to the history because it's all a lot of bad moments that happened like that. But last year we proved that this all can be undone.
Absolutely. I take great pride in the 2012 final today, because in that moment, as Jupp Heynckes said, he confronted the team and he said that if we are to win everything, we now have to work together to achieve it. And he pulled them out. I mean, that 2012 final, it was so heartbreaking for us that it motivated us to become something that could well be the greatest club side ever. Perhaps. And that final was a catalyst for us to come. And as you point out, then came 2013. The two matches against the champions of Italy, Juventus, in the quarterfinals. The two games against the champions of Spain, Barcelona, in the semifinals. Fantastic performances. And then facing off against the reigning champions of Germany, Borussia Dortmund, in the final. And it was a fantastic performance. Yes, we got dominated for the first 20 minutes, but then we got a grip in the game, and then we didn't relinquish, not till the end. And deservedly, we became champions, did we not?
Of course we did. I mean, 2013 was perfect in all senses. From the start right to the end. One can dream of such games and such results and such even the depth. I mean, the depth was amazing. The rotation, like whatever a squad played, they won with ease.
True. I remember Jupp Heynckes made about six changes for the game against, if I'm not wrong, Werder Bremen, and we had 4 or 6 goals.
It was right before Arsenal, right?
I'm not certain. I'm not certain when, but I do remember
I think there was a Champions League game just
exactly. Yes, I mean, like
the coming week. Maybe
the point is that Jupp Heynckes felt comfortable making wholesale changes to his squad, and we had enough chemistry within the team, whatever team played, to go out there and win the game. 91 points in a Bundesliga season. That was incredible. 24 records broken along the way. The Champions League title won. The DFB Pokal won, albeit a bit nervously towards the ending, but won nonetheless. Mario Gomez getting, with his last touch of the ball in a Bayern jersey, a goal to seal the deal for Bayern. It was a fantastic year for Bayern. And I think that should bring us now to this year. Are we better?
Well, that's debatable, actually. And I don't like to get into details about this because, some people would like the way that we played or prefer the way that we played last year. And some would say maybe this year is better. But as long as the success is going on, I don't think we should do a lot of comparison,
I understand where you're coming from.
As long as it's just flowing. And the success is really, I don't know. I think we're doing really good at the moment.
Okay, then I'll try and rephrase my question. I'll put it to you in a different way. Do you think that Bayern right now are on course to? Can they seriously consider at this point of time the possibility that we may indeed win another treble?
Well, it's very possible. Yes, it can be done, but as you know, in football, you need a little bit of luck, no matter how good you were. So
the only honest title, as if I'm not wrong, Karl-Heinz Rummenigge says often, is the Bundesliga, is the league. 34 matches, you don't become champions with luck. You can't become champions of a league with luck. You have to be consistent. But in a cup, one bad day and you're out. So you're right about the luck. You're right, absolutely right about the luck.
Exactly. Like maybe the Bundesliga is a championship that we can win because no matter how bad we played, we have a good and comfortable lead. But you know, in knockout stages, there's no such thing as this. You know.
True. Is it not incredible? We've dropped 4 points this season. That's it. We've dropped 4 points in the entire campaign so far. We've only dropped 4 points. You know, we've only drawn 2 matches. It's beyond ridiculous at this point of time, the consistency that Bayern have showed.
That leads to another question, actually.
Which is?
Can Bayern remain undefeated?
That's a scary one, isn't it? I think most Bayern fans secretly in their heart, they might not say it out loud, but they hope, they obviously hope. It's a great achievement, becoming the Invincibles, isn't it? I mean, Arsenal fans will know all about it.
Yeah.
They managed it in 2003, 2004, if I'm not wrong.
It ain't easy. I mean, you need a lot of luck as well, but so far we're on the right track, and I guess we can pull this off, but still, you never know. I mean, if we face a lot of injuries,
right,
sometimes some things out of your control happen.
Well, that's true. I look back. I've looked back. I've done a little bit of research about this matter, and as it turns out, obviously, I think this is something that many of our fans will know. Germany, whether in the time of the Bundesliga or prior to the Bundesliga, has never had an undefeated champion, ever.
Never.
And never. It's never happened.
Yeah.
It's never happened. And but on 2 occasions, one team managed to come the closest to achieving that. Both times, it's Bayern Munich. Both times it was Bayern Munich. They lost only 1 match in the entire season. In I think, if I'm not wrong, 86, 87. And of course last year when we lost only 1 game. And this is another interesting thing, Yan. On both occasions, it was the same team that beat us. It was Leverkusen.
Oh.
It was Leverkusen in Munich on both occasions. Isn't that scary? I mean, and we still have to play them. We still have to play Leverkusen in Munich. And I know that they got thrashed by a very weak Manchester United side. I know that they got thrashed by Paris Saint-Germain. But they're a different beast in the Bundesliga. They're a different beast in Europe for some reason. Maybe they'll improve with a bit of consistency and more experience at that level. But at this stage, my heart gets really scared about the match against Leverkusen in Munich, because both times when Bayern lost only 1 match in the entire season, it was Leverkusen in Munich.
Well, actually, if you go back to last year, it was really lucky, and lucky for them and unlucky for Bayern.
True.
If you remember the goals, you know?
Yeah. I mean, the first one, Philipp Lahm of all people with a mistake. What?
And Boateng as well, right?
Well, it wasn't a mistake. I mean, Sidney Sam tried his best to hit the corner flag. Like, he was aiming for the corner flag, and it smacks Boateng straight on the face, and it goes into the bottom corner.
Yeah.
And then I remember right after that, Manuel Neuer decided, well, screw this, I'm playing as a midfielder. And he went on a mazy little run and almost pulled off an assist to the assister.
An assist, yeah.
We hit the post.
It was a header by Mandzukic, maybe, or Gomez.
I think Pizarro. No, I have a feeling it was Pizarro. It was Pizarro, right?
And it hit the post. So
I'm just hoping that they don't get luck in Munich this one time. You know, like, come on, Bayern, don't lose against Leverkusen.
Well, it's different this time, I think.
What do you think is different?
We were closer to lose to Stuttgart, for an example.
Mm-hmm.
Like they played really good.
Yes, they did. They absolutely did. They hassled, they harried, they worked hard. It was a phenomenal performance by Stuttgart.
Yeah, but then right now Bayern are doing the right thing at the right time. So they score even when the opposition is dominating the play.
It always seems like a matter of time. It doesn't matter if we're trailing a game or if we're being dominated. It always feels that Bayern can pull out a goal from anywhere. Against the run of play, with the run of play, it doesn't matter.
It is true, except for the match against Man City in the Champions League at the Allianz Arena.
You know what? I actually really believe, and no excuses. I mean, no excuses. At the end of the day, we were beaten fair and square. We were beaten fair and square against a team that played better on the night. But I do believe that for Bayern, the one thing that was working against them was the injuries. I mean, we had a lot of injuries affecting the squad. I mean, a lot of people don't know this. I mean, a lot of people haven't noticed
this. But Man City had injuries.
I don't think they had injuries. I think they had just completely refreshed the squad. They had played a completely different squad.
Yeah, but it was the weaker side, actually. Their weaker side.
Their weakest.
And we played with a more on paper it was a better team.
I would say that we were the better team, but even their weak side, it is comprised of international level players. They're fully fledged internationals that were playing. So it wasn't a weak side, and they were a fresh side. I think that was the key. I think we were physically exhausted. But that's I understand that that's a little bit nitpicky.
I disagree, actually. I think it wasn't about the form, because
no, it was
not just this match only. I mean,
it wasn't about the form. It was about the physical fitness. I think we were running on empty towards right at the beginning of the game. I think after the 25th minute, there was a sudden drop in the amount of intensity with which we were playing.
No, but that can't be about physicality, because you can go on more than 20 minutes. Especially when you're dominating position and you don't have to even run a lot.
That's what I do blame. I do blame that we could have controlled the game. Even if we were tired, we have shown that we could have dominated the game. So it's not really an excuse. It was just something that worked against us. But
it's good that it was a group stage game. So
True.
We still topped
it was very scary that we were one goal away from finishing runners-up in our group. But
it is true.
But
and it was really close, because actually City were closer to score another one.
Yes. I think it was Dante with a mistake in the game.
I can't recall that.
Right. But they were close. They were close to getting that goal, but luckily they did not. We held out.
Yeah.
And I think we deservedly topped the group at the end of the day.
So let's talk about Champions League.
Right.
Let's talk about the Arsenal tie.
All right. Let's be honest. We were dominated in the first probably 15, 20 minutes. Like, completely dominated. I think we maybe had one or two really good moves, but it was all about Arsenal at that stage. It was definitely all about Arsenal. They were all over us, as a good home team should try to impose themselves upon the away side. But Özil, he didn't miss a penalty. Neuer saved it. Brilliant. Credit to Neuer.
He hesitated with his shot. That's why it was poor.
It was a poor shot, but even a poor shot...
really poor.
Even a poor shot needs saving. And Neuer was there. He stepped up for us. He guessed the right way. He kept the eye on the ball. He made himself big. He didn't throw himself in a direction too early. In fact, if I'm not wrong, Neuer halted his movement, got on one knee and put his hand up. That kind of reminded me of Oliver Kahn in the Champions League 2001. The one which he just gets a little fingertip on the ball.
Yeah, in the final.
And it goes against the crossbar.
Yeah, and he touches the ball and he started
screaming at the ball. Yeah.
Yes, I knew it was made to happen.
And true. And then I think Bayern started to get a slightly more stronger grip into the game, especially after the 28th minute. We started to get more into the game, but it was even. It wasn't as though we were dominating yet. And then came...
It was maybe even. I mean, I would say the first half was mostly Arsenal, but...
Yes.
Bayern had really dangerous
chances.
Exactly.
They could have scored. I mean, Kroos and Robin were really good in the first half. And Neuer, of course, because he saved...
Yes.
Some chances for Arsenal to open up the score sheet.
It was a good match. It was just a good match. I mean, both sides playing good football, trying to attack, trying to get a goal. Arsenal, being the home side, did the better, perhaps. Of
two missed penalties, but I mean, the red card. That was the...
I know that's obviously the moment that changed the complexion of the match, but there can be no debating this. It was a red card.
Of course, yeah, of course. It was obvious. According to rules, it's a straight red.
And it was a professional foul which prevented a clear goal scoring chance. So, and credit to Bayern, they made it happen. What a pass by Toni Kroos. What brilliant control by Arjen Robben. It was earned. The red card was earned by Bayern.
To be honest, they're unlucky, Arsenal. I mean, they're always being drawn to the toughest challenge since Barcelona were the dominant team in Europe. They used to always face Barcelona, and now when Barcelona are not as good, they get Bayern instead. So I feel sorry for them somehow, but at the same time, there's no room for
sentimentality.
I mean,
I think the one thing that could really help Arsenal fans, Arsenal, the team, finish top of your group. I know it's something of pride that you constantly, every year that you're playing in the Champions League, you make it to the next round. But you got to start finishing top of the group to get an easy draw, you know?
Yeah, but they had the toughest group.
They did. Can't deny that. Yeah. This year they absolutely did. Back to Bayern. So we had the Arsenal game. We got the red card, which we earned. After which, it was mesmerizing football, wasn't it? I mean, complete and utter total domination. Some people might say it was a little boring. Each person has a right to their opinion, but what cannot be debated is that was beyond dominating. Even against a 10-man team, to just effortlessly move the ball around from side to side, waiting patiently for a chance. And the goals, my God, Toni Kroos. If by any chance Bayern Munich heads are listening to this podcast, every Bayern Munich fan begs you, please give Kroos the contract extension. We are desperate.
They gave him the extension. It's up to him to accept or not. So,
well, I think
I'm with Bayern on this. I'm with Bayern.
I think it's a little bit of both sides need to compromise. I think we don't know the entire story. We don't know what.
I'm sure that Bayern compromised because they always do compromise. But maybe Kroos is the one that wants to force something.
I certainly cannot say that which I do not know. I do not know the inner workings that are happening.
According to media and according to his agent,
right,
that he wants a certain amount of money, and he's not going anywhere.
Again, so the media have been known to twist things around, but I understand that there might be some truth to this.
But no one denied that.
I'm certain there might be some truth to it. I'm just not going to comment on anything that I do not know for certain. With that being said, I do believe with all of my heart that Toni Kroos is an amazing player, and he's a Bayern youth product. I mean, yes, we got him from Hansa Rostock, but he's our youth product, and he's a phenomenal talent, and he showed his worth. Not against Arsenal, not just against Arsenal, but over the course of many years, improving and becoming better. And I think he deserves to stay with Bayern, and I hope that he stays to Bayern.
Actually, this year it was one of his best seasons ever. But some people might be fooled. I think that Kroos he was really good against Arsenal, but he wasn't that good before we were playing against him. You know, I mean, I thought.
Do you mean in the Arsenal match?
Yeah. He played phenomenally in the first half, and him and Robin were the best players, and Neuer, of course. In the second half, after Chesney was sent off, he had, I think, about 60 passes in the first half. And in the second half, he had 100.
Yeah, it just shot up.
Oh, yeah. It does not really reflect.
True. I don't think anyone should be making a snap judgment just because of one match, especially against a team that is that had a player sent off. You're absolutely right about that.
Yeah, it's a little bit harsh that although Kroos was really good. I mean, those passes, the vision. I mean, he reminded me of Effenberg for an instance in that game
And I believe that he's been a constantly improving player, and he's been a consistent player. I understand that there might be some observers who might have a certain disagreement with maybe minor flaws in his game in this respect or that respect. But I think as an overall, he's been an outstanding player since his return.
But the good thing about Bayern that
Leverkusen.
Even if Kroos is not around, there's someone else who can do the job. So,
well, undoubtedly, I mean,
I would love to see him staying at Bayern, but he has to find a way to meet with Bayern.
True.
And Bayern.
Vice versa.
Also,
yes, absolutely. Well, that's what I mean. I said that right at the beginning of our podcast, right? That players come, players go, legends come, legends go. The club stays forever. So
exactly.
I do think that the best that I've heard with regards to the Kroos situation has come from the Bayern camp and even from Toni Kroos himself. They've all agreed that there's something which is halting progress. There's something which is preventing a contract being signed right now. But both parties understand and appreciate each other. Both parties value each other. And I believe that it is a matter of time before Kroos signs on. At least that's my belief and my hope.
Actually, his contract runs until 2015. So there's a lot of time.
There's time, absolutely.
Yeah, but I think maybe at the end of the season, he will make the decision, and it's not about Bayern, in my opinion. It's about Kroos. He will decide, like, I want to stay at Bayern and take what's on the table, or I'm going to go for another adventure somewhere else.
Well, I would certainly hope that as someone who's progressed from the youth department, from the reserve side, I would hope that he would want to be associated with what might potentially be one of the greatest sides ever, possibly the greatest Bayern team ever. And I hope he stays. I mean, we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. That we certainly hope for the best, and we hope that both parties will be happy by the end of this ordeal.
Yeah, we hope so.
Indeed. So let's just we'll try and wrap this up now. Let's just focus on some of the let's focus on one of the initial points. Do you think Bayern can go undefeated this season?
Well, that's a really hard question to answer, but they can. Yes.
I'm putting you in a spot. Will they go undefeated? Yes or no? Will Germany see its first ever undefeated champions?
Yeah, they will.
All right. You know what? I'm with you on that. Why not? Go Bayern. Let's become the first ever undefeated champions of Germany.
And even if it didn't happen, I mean, it's no big deal for me. It doesn't really matter, even if they don't pull this off. If they pull it, that would be legendary. If they don't, they're still legendary in my opinion.
Absolutely. Cannot agree with you more on that. It's an amazing opportunity. In the end, it's a record, and usually records are meaningless. The only thing that is remembered is, did you become champions or not? So yes, I do think that to become the champions of Germany should be the main priority. Whether we win, we lose, it's fine. But secretly in my heart, I do believe and I do hope that we will go undefeated this season. All right, ladies and gentlemen, with that, it's time to close our first ever podcast. We hope you enjoyed yourself. We can assure you that we had a blast. And indeed, we hope to do this again real soon. And we hope to talk more about Bayern, talk more about interesting stuff, and maybe give out little priceless gems that will entertain you, that will inform you, and in general, just make you happy that it's all about Bayern. Yan, any last words?
Yeah, we'd like to get your feedback as well. What did you like? Critique is always important. We want to be better. And as we heard that there's not much English Bayern podcasts around, maybe just one actually. So yeah, we'll surely do another one, and hopefully it'll be a better one as well. So until next time, it's me, Yan, and Armaan from Miasan Worldwide.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a wonderful night.
FC Bayern Fußball weiß Beleberkäse sind. FC Bayern Fußball weiß Beleberkäse sind. FC Bayern Fußball weiß Beleberkäse sind. FC Bayern Fußball weiß Bier und Leberkäse sind. FC Bayern Fußball weiß Beleberkäse sind. FC Bayern Fußball weiß Beleberkäse sind. FC Bayern Fußball weiß Beleberkäse sind. FC Bayern Fußball weiß Bier